Hello? Hello? Okay, just give me 1 second as I set everything up. Excuse me. Alrighty. Good night, afternoon, morning to everyone. This is Adjusting, a college podcast. Live broadcasting from the office of my parents' house where I live. The music is provided by Cafe BGM on YouTube, and the video is Relaxing Jazz. I have to say this so I don't get a copyright strike. The last time I got warned or striked like 7 times on one video, it was pretty hilarious. This episode is the second episode of the series. It is the third week of my first semester college experience, and so I have decided on doing the podcast every 2 weeks so that my stress levels lower. Now, before I get into that, let's jump into our first thing. We have gone over the welcome and now to the day by day. So, the second week of college was quite interesting. There's this plaza that we have over at the University of Texas at El Paso, and it's just this giant circle of grass, and it's called the Centennial Plaza, and it's very, very nice. It was made to commemorate the 100 years of the university, and it's really nice. And so a bunch of events are always held there, and they're just always well organized. There's tons of space for everything. A bunch of clubs go there and they set up their booths and they give out information. Sometimes there's free food or free drinks or, excuse me, or free, whatever college stuff. It's an experience, I guess you could say. So the Monday, I had not yet had my lab. My lab did not start until the 10th of September. Now, I basically already went over this. Nothing really special happened, except that I got on Wednesday. I got everything from my car finalized. It's a 2001 RAV4, and yes, it does have power windows. I was actually looking forward to the manual windows because I thought it was kind of funny if my car had manual windows. You see, my mother had a 1990 something RAV4 when I was younger, and I remember she'd be like, "Yeah, roll up the windows," and I'd go with my tiny like little toddler arms and just like crank the window, and I'd get stuck sometimes. And I don't know, just like the nostalgia of getting the power windows and maybe like getting it stuck sometime would have reassured me or something. Because, well, college is an interesting beast. Now, uh, everything was fine. Everything was actually really good. I got my car. I park on by this park, and when there wasn't parking, I'd park up the street from the university, and then I just walk down. And the bad part was that I don't get out till like 6 sometimes because of meetings or practice. Meetings specifically for the Student Alumni Association. I need to pay for my dues for that. Now, the Student Alumni Association is a club that focuses on promoting, I guess you could say, people who have graduated from the university and just overall organizing tailgate events and making sure the correct people are recognized, and it's really nice. And because of practice, because I'm on the speech and debate team over at the university, and fun fact, when we go compete, well, in high school it was you competed against everyone at the city through high school held tournaments, but now it's more on a national-ish level, and you go and compete against other people in different states, and it's really interesting. So I got picked for the traveling team that will be going this Friday. We'll be leaving this Friday and coming back on Monday. And so I'll be missing my university class and my lab and my Cal 1 class and debate. But debate doesn't matter because I'm with them, right? So that's cool. Now, yeah, and so walking back uphill at like 6 in the afternoon is not ideal, but it's free parking, and yeah, I can't complain because nothing's happened so far. And on Friday, that Friday was the first ever high school speech and debate tournament held at one of the Lower Valley high schools, Isleta High School, and we were asked to go judge because we're high school students now, so we can go judge instead of compete, and that was an interesting experience. What happened was, well, they wanted us to go judge at 4:30, but my class ended at 4:20, but my professor ended things 20 minutes earlier, just about 15-20 minutes earlier. And so what we did before I went to my class was we parked normally, and then we walked back, and then I parked in inside of the campus in one of the what are those things called where you put the money and the meters. I'm like when the meters, but the thing is that it does by hour, and so I had my friends go every hour and put $1 so that I didn't get like towed or ticket. And as soon as I got out and we got onto the freeway, but we needed to get onto the Interstate Highway. And that was an interesting experience because as we got there, we were going pretty fast, and nothing happened. It's just that we we to they cross the interstate highway and the freeway, but they cross at a place where is after where we needed to be, and so we got off of it and then back and then onto the interstate highway. And getting onto the interstate highway because it was mid it was like 4:20ish at this point, and so people were getting out of work. And over here, the lower valley, people come from Mexico and they go work over here, and they drive back, and so traffic gets very bad, and we have crazy drivers on the road. And so, luckily, we luckily I have amazing brakes for a 2001 car, and sorry, my friend asked me a math question. He says, find the slope-intercept form of the equation of the line passing through these points. And so, so he put it in correctly, but he didn't put it in slope-intercept form, which is funny. He put it in correctly, but he didn't put it in slope-intercept form, which is funny. Yeah, so he put in 0 when it should be just like y equals 0. I don't know, like x equals 0 or something like that. Yeah, so x equals 0. Anyways, and so driving there was a little weird. We had to like get off and like do a U-turn and then get onto this other street and then like get on it. It was some part of the highway that I hadn't seen before, but eventually we got there, and we got there on time. We got there at 4:30, and just a little perspective. So my city's pretty fairly big. It's the biggest small city in Texas. On like city side, it's like Austin, San Antonio, Houston, and then like Dallas, and then El Paso. So we're pretty big. So it usually takes about 40 minutes or 30, it depends on traffic, to get from the university to that side of town. And we did it in under 30 minutes. And I don't know how we did that. I swear I wasn't speeding. I don't like speeding. It makes me uncomfortable. It makes me feel unsafe. So maybe just time was on our side. And we got there in time, and we signed in, and we judged Lincoln. I judged 2 rounds of the Lincoln Douglas debate, which was really interesting because my now captain for the university team, my then assistant coach, would like yell at us and tell us that we need to do a certain structure for when we're speaking. And when these kids were presenting their arguments, I could see why he would want us to do it that way now, because I don't know, once you're out of that perspective, you're obviously your perspective changes, but the understanding of why certain things need to be done a certain way so that they look and or come out the best. And so after that, I judged 2 rounds and my mother had me leave because it was my cousin's birthday party. So I went to my cousin's birthday and that was pretty cool, and then I went home. Saturday, I don't remember a lot. I think I went to go eat ice cream or something with one of my friends, and it was a lot of fun. Sunday is same Sunday. I go to church. I'm religious, yes. And Monday, I went to school, no problem. Everything was fine. And my lab started, so that was interesting. My lab TA is very, very lenient. She is studying for her PhD at the moment, so she understands how the pressures, obviously, and they're fresh to her, and so she's really cool on the, I guess you could say, the process and how long we're in the lab, because hold up, I need to do a sound check. Okay, everything should be fine. Alrighty, so she is awesome. So the lab is from 8:30 to 11:50, but if you finish your lab early, you're allowed to leave. And so that was very nice. So I finished my lab like an hour early, and so I left. Me and my friends left, and that was really, really nice. So let me just adjust this really quick. Sorry about there we go. Sorry about that. It's just what happened was the music stopped playing. I didn't notice, and then when I saw what was the problem, I fixed it, you know. So what happened was this one's a 6-minute long one, and the other one I had was a 2-hour long one, so that's the one I'm playing at the moment. And then Tuesday happened, so I'm not exactly sure what the thing was. Mom, I'm recording. Mom, I'm live. I know, but I'm live right now. I'll do it. Just leave the stuff here. Okay. Wow. Yeah, so I mean, I love my mom, but she likes to just show up whenever she wants. I mean, she's entitled to. I just wish that she'd like knock first. But you know, it's fine. That's funny though. I was kind of expecting this to happen. Don't worry. That's funny. So Tuesday, everything was fine. I drove my car, and then once I got to a certain street that I would turn, and I was like maybe like 3 minutes away from getting to my friend's house, so I could pick them up and we could go to school. My hood started smoking, and it wasn't a black smoke. It was a white smoke. However, that is still incredibly horrible. I thought I was gonna die. I thought I was gonna blow up, and I thought that uh, it was just gonna be a horrible, horrible experience, and I was gonna die or something. But luckily, I didn't, and so now I'm here. What happened was, well, my friend's dad's really good at cars, and he took a look at it, and he couldn't find out what was wrong with it. But there was some sort of leakage, and I didn't have any more coolant, and so that's what happened. Oh yes, and so this is the 2 hour long jazz, relaxing jazz for the background, brought to you by Cafe BGM. So this is awesome. YouTube, please don't strike me. So they said that either A, the radiator was busted, or B, it was just a coolant. And so they gave me this, like, they filled it with coolant, and then like my radiator cap had no water in it, and so I drove it back home, and all the stuff leaked out of it. And so every time I would drive, I'd have to fill it with water because the engine would heat up, and the radiator would, well, I had no idea yet, but this would happen, and the radiator would heat up and expand and allow the liquid to pass through, and that was sad. So it was not fun, because, you know, once you feel like, well, I have no job, right? And so I'm not able to help my family in the ways that I wish I could. It's no lie, college is expensive. Doesn't matter what college you're going to, if you don't have everything or 80% of everything paid, college is expensive. I'm currently in debt, like $5,500 plus interest with financial aid. It's an unsubsidized loan. It's the only thing I was qualified for, because when you're middle class, you don't get a lot of government help, but that doesn't mean that your parents can completely help you. So, you know, it's just something I have to deal with. And when your car breaks down and you need $200 to be able to complete your homework, things just start piling up. But I guess that's just life. As my dad described it to me, is that that's just how life happens. Life costs money, unfortunately. And when you're middle class, things are easy, but when things get hard, they get hard. So that's why well, this is my pseudo diary. So this I cried myself to sleep because I understand the complicated financial struggles that my parents have because I am starting college. I had a check left over from financial aid, and that was enough to buy my physical books. However, it wasn't enough to buy all of my materials. So, buying a car was not easy. My parents had to pull out a loan of a certain amount that I will not disclose. And it worked out. And it's not something I wanted my parents to do, but but I guess I could never understand until I was in their shoes. You know, like I knew that I needed a car and they knew I needed a car. But I mean, as soon as I could, and that was as soon as I could, and it's an interesting situation, life, and just overall, when you are able to actually fully grasp the implications of how much things cost and how things affect the budget that you live on, you know, and that's when you really get to appreciate everything. I mean, of course, I understood to some degree what was going on in my younger years. I'm 18, right? So I'm young, but when I mean younger years, I mean since like middle school. I understood what was going on, and I'm pretty good with money, but it's a simple matter of when you see how much things cost compared to how much your income is, it's scary. It really is. Growing up is scary. And last week I said that college isn't for everyone. And you know what? However cynical that sounds, I still stand by that. Because it's a matter of how you want to live your life. And everyone is on the same path but has different destinations. And so it's a complicated situation in where I could like fault this all on the government, and that would be the right thing to do, but that's not the practical thing to do, because I can start making money faster than the government can start fixing things. So I need to get with the program before the program changes to my favor. And you would think, obviously, oh yeah, just wait till it changes in your favor, but by that time, you as a human, your life has caught up to you. And so the time frames of everything just switches, and nothing is as it was, or you just can't do it the same way because now everything is different. And that's why I'm in college. I need to become what the government is allowing me to become, so I can change the government for the future to come, so that it doesn't affect everyone else after us as bad as it's affecting us. And I guess that's the American dream, in a sense. Well, at least that's my version of it. As I said before, because I can start making money faster than the government can start changing things. And I guess that's just capitalism. and democracy. And so every day I'd put water in it, and then Friday came and I put water in it and whatnot. And so Saturday, which was yesterday, we took it to the mechanic shop. It's a Tire Pros over on Zaragoza, going south, going down towards the lower valley. It's by the big Walmart and the GameStop and the Red Lantern and the Sonic. It's an awesome tire shop. It's next to the O'Reilly's, next to the dental service, and they do really good job. And so they checked out the radiator, and they were like, yeah, the radiator's busted, and your temperature gauge was also busted. And so it wasn't allowing to cool correctly. And so the radiator was busted, and radiators are not, well, I mean, it's a small thing compared to, your car blowing up or your engine warping. But as I was saying before, it's the expenses that really hit you hard, and you begin to appreciate your parents more if you haven't already. If not, then this is where you truly begin to appreciate your parents for the amount of effort and money that they put into your life. I mean, none of us asked to be here. None of us asked to be born. And I'm not saying this in a cynical way. I'm saying this in the realest way as possible. And so, when you understand that it's your parents' duty to take care of you, and not in the sense where you're a spoiled brat, but they allow you to live, and you truly are able to see the all-encompassing struggle as a parent. It's not easy. It is definitely not easy. Is it worth it? Man, I sure do hope so. If not, I'm a horrible child, and I bring hell to my parents. But I hope I don't. But if I do, Pops, Mom, I'm sorry. I'll be better. But if not, I just want to say thank you for everything you've done for me, and everything that you've given me and making my life as best as possible. Sorry. For giving me the opportunity to do well, so I can shape the future to be whatever it needs to be for life to be easier. We wouldn't be here without our parents, and I mean this not in the literal sense where, yeah, your parents made you, but none of us would be here without our parents. So, go hug your parents, or parent, or guardian, or whoever's taking care of you, because that's the hard job. And they only have you for a fraction of their life, but up until that point, it's all of yours. So make it count. Right. Alright. Now, on to some questions. We don't have a lot of questions this week. We have 4 questions. My friend Fahad says, "Can I smash?" Wow, that's awesome. We went from heartfelt to completely in the garbage. No, Fahad, please. My friend Ian asks, "Hey, if you could have any power, what color from the alphabet would you eat? Explain your answer." Well, if I had any power, what color of the alphabet I would eat, and explain my answer, I would have the power of probability, because with the power of probability, I saw this from a Tumblr post, and I claimed it because that Tumblr post isn't one of the biggest Tumblr posts on the internet, but it's pretty big. And so the post went something like, well, think about it. What's the percentage of going home and your bathtub being filled with macaroni and cheese? Well, 0%, obviously, but with the power of probability, you can change that to 100%. So you'd walk into your bathroom and your bathtub is filled with macaroni and cheese. And the power of probability is probably the most outrageous power, because you could literally do everything and anything. But what color of the alphabet would I eat? I would probably eat the color yellow, because it's the color of pineapples, and I love pineapples. Now the alphabet, the color of the alphabet, by this definition, it'd be like alphabet soup or something. Alphabet soup is typically tomato-based soup, so I guess it'd be red, and that's the color of the alphabet that I would eat, red, and it'd be in soup form. I haven't had alphabet soup in a hot second. What? Man, I love alphabet soup though. Alphabet soup is pretty good. However, my favorite kind of soup. Oh, what is my favorite kind of soup? I didn't thought about that. Oh, I'm dumb. My favorite kind of soup is ramen. I absolutely love ramen. Hi. Yes? My favorite kind of soup is ramen. I absolutely yes. Love ramen. Hi. What? Yes? Okay, you can come in here. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, my dad. Yeah, we have 3 people watching. That's the most I've had ever. Yeah, well, they're listening. It's a podcast. It's called Adjusting, a college podcast, like the one you told me to make, and you know what? I think it's really nice. My friend Cameron asks, so basically, we monkey. If y'all seen that meme where it's just like a bunch of apes and they're dancing, and it's like, so basically we monkey, and that's it, and that's the whole meme. I don't know. My friend Leo asks, why are you real? Why are we real? Well, my religion says that we are real because God wants us to be real. The universe says we are real just because we are real. And, well, the definition of real is an interpreted definition. Because what they teach you is that there's a skeleton inside of you. But what they don't say is that you're inside the skeleton. And so real is whatever you want to be. So if you don't want to be real, you can claim not to be real, and that would also be true. But yeah, sounds pretty interesting. Did we get another? No, we didn't get another question. That's all the questions we have for this week. I wish more people asked questions, because, like, let's see how many people viewed the story. 46 people, and we got 4 questions. So that's 10% of people. 10% of people would ask questions. So yeah, so that's interesting. Um, I already gave y'all my advice inside of the day by day. I just put that in there. So now let's go into the weather. Why the weather? I don't know. I like the weather. And so it's actually inspired off of it's inspired off of Welcome to Night Vale. I don't know if any of you ever listened to Welcome to Night Vale. It's a podcast based horror story kind of universe thing. I believe it's still updating to this day. It has close to 300 episodes or something. And I think that's amazing. I think that's absolutely amazing. And so when Cecil, the host of Night Vale, says, and now for the weather. And the weather is just a song from an indie artist. And it's really interesting. So the weather, there's like no weather. Because like the lore behind Night Vale is that it's like Area 51, but it's not, and it exists, but it doesn't. And it's insane. There's like time traveling raptors and demons, and I'm not sure. I'm not completely caught up anymore, but it's amazing. So yeah, the weather. So it says tonight, the high and the low. The low is 69, precipitation percentage is 0. And so we got east-southeast winds going at 9 miles per hour. The humidity is 51%. That's actually pretty high. So tomorrow is sunny with a high of 92 and a low of 70. Precipitation 20%. East winds going 8 miles per hour. Humidity 43%. Oh, fun fact about precipitation percentages. So when it gives you a percentage, it says you have a 20% of running into rain. Not that there's a 20% chance of rain, but that's how they phrase it. But what they're really telling you is that 20% of the city is going to get rained on. So you have a 20% chance of being in that rain, because, well, the 100% is the city. So, yeah, that's really interesting. See, Tuesday, mostly sunny, with some clouds, high of 93 and a low of 71, and a precipitation percentage of 20. East-southeast winds going at 7 miles per hour with a humidity of 46%. Wednesday, there will be afternoon thunderstorms, the high being 91, the low being 69, with a precipitation chance of 60%. So 60% of the city will get rained on. And it looks like no, there's no lightning, just rain. South winds going 10 miles per hour, humidity percentage 45. Thursday, so the thunderstorms from the evening are going to roll into the morning. We have AM thunderstorms, and the high is going to be 86, and the low is going to be 67, with a 50% chance of rain. The winds going west at 7 miles per hour with a humidity of 54. And so you can see that the humidity percentage went up 9%, and that would be because of the leftover water from the night storms into the morning storms just being freshly evaporated by the sun, so that increases humidity. Friday, September 21st, is when I leave for the tournament. We leave at around 7:30 in the morning. And we're driving there because it is in Texas. And AM clouds with a PM sun, and we are looking at a high and low of 80 and 85 and 66, with a precipitation chance of 20%. West winds going 8 miles per hour, and a humidity percentage of 52. Next Saturday, it is going to be sunny with a high and low of 86 and 67 degrees. 0% chance of rain. West-northwest winds going 7 miles per hour with a humidity of 46. And next Sunday is going to be sunny with a high 91 and a low of 68. 0% chance of wind. Southeast winds going 6 miles per hour and a humidity percentage of 40%. So I might go into next week's forecast as well, because I think I'm going to end up doing the podcast every 2 weeks. That way it actually correlates with my schedule. Now, they wanted me to go to the next tournament, but due to the nature of traveling, it would make me miss my university class and my lab and my Cal 1 class, and I can't miss those 2 weeks in a row because those are the only days I have those classes. And so I'd have to wait again to travel, which is totally fine. And the 2 week gap between, well, not 2 week, but like every other week gap between podcasts will allow me to accumulate content for you all and just overall provide a better streaming service, maybe a different jazz soundtrack or the same one, and just push it back an hour instead of hearing the first hour of the soundtrack. Oh, we have 4 viewers. That is awesome. And 1 like. The Cowboys? Oh, go Cowboys. They won. How much did we win? 20-7? 27-7. So this week we didn't have a special guest because Texas also won. So my dad is really big on football. Yeah, like really big. I mean, football is really big over here in Texas. That's it. The end. Period. And my dad was an all-city football player back in high school, and so I can hear you cough in the recording, by the way, so it's funny. No, it's fine. It's whatever. We were both sick this past week, but so the Texas Longhorns won. We tried to watch that. The recording and then fell asleep. By the way, we've moved into the extras section of the show, seeing that we are 10 minutes left into the broadcast, so this is where we get to talk whatever we want. So the Longhorns won. What was your score? 10 minutes left into the broadcast, so this is where we get to talk whatever we want. Okay. It's okay, we can go silent for a little bit. I have jazz in the background.
USC 37-14.
37-14. We beat USC 37-14. And so that's awesome. And then
2-1, so that's good.
The Cowboys are 2-1.
1-1.
Oh, 1-1. Texas is 2-1. UTEP is 0-2. I don't know what it is about the university. My dad says they have no offense, and so that's probably what's happening with them. Oh, and see, people are logging off now. That's fine. It is the end of the broadcast. Yeah, and so we watched the Cowboys game live. My godfather / godbrother came over, and yeah, that sounds funny. I know, right? That sounds funny. Like if y'all listened to last week's episode, send players. Oh yeah, so y'all know. Oh yeah, okay. So y'all know about my cousin's dog. So my dad is Robert's godfather, which makes him my godbrother, but Robert is my godfather. So yeah. Um, yes, Florence, Hurricane Florence finally touched land and is devastating thousands of people. So if y'all would just keep them in your thoughts, keep them in your prayers. Hopefully everything turns out alright for them. Hopefully the other hurricanes that are lining up along the ocean don't hit any part of the continental U.S. I can't read that.
U.S. Border Patrol agent arrested in 4 deaths described as serial killers.
Oh yes, did you all hear about the Border Patrol agent that was picking up sex workers and murdering them? That is crazy. So what happened was, I was just a Border Patrol agent was picking up sex workers and murdering them, and he killed 4 people. And the 5th one escaped from him and ran into a state trooper, luckily, and the state trooper had him arrested, and well, I mean, he's in jail now, and it's like a serial killer case almost. That can be like maybe like a mini horror movie or something, or like an episode of like Special Victims Unit or something. And that'd be interesting. So yeah. Oh yeah, Canelo beat Triple G. Was it last night? I don't know. I didn't see the fight.
Decision.
What was it?
It was a decision.
It was it was judge's decision. So they won. So he won 2-1. Apparently he had landed more punches and his technique was better than Triple G's, and so I guess that won him the fight. And so if you can't hit hard hits, hit as many small hits as you can, and maybe you'll win. So yeah, that I mean that's.
What do you think about that? The police lady.
The what police lady?
So in Dallas, she came home from work, parked on the wrong level, went to the.
Happy birthday.
Thanks. Oh, that's my 6-foot charger. Thanks. I'm live right now. Yeah, people have been walking in this episode, whatever. Mom walked in, she was like, and I was like, I'm live. And she was like, and I was like, I told you, like, I was going live, but I guess she didn't understand. Yeah, like, my mom doesn't understand that you can't pause online video games. It's really, really, really sad.
Well, anyway, she went to the wrong level.
Yes.
Opened the door thinking it was her apartment. Well, this is her story. And then saw a shadow and shot the man in there. When she called 911, she went to check, well, where are you at? She went to look at the apartment to make sure, and she was in the wrong apartment. She killed a black man in his own apartment.
That's so sad. So a police officer parked on the wrong level. A Dallas police officer parked on the wrong level. For some reason, she was able to get into this apartment.
She said the door was open, but the witnesses are saying otherwise. That she actually kind of banged on the door.
Oh wow, okay, and so
her official story was.
So her official story was that it was open, and she went in and she saw a shadow and shot, thinking it was her apartment. Someone was in her apartment, but it was not, in fact, her apartment. It was an unarmed black man's apartment, and she killed him in his own apartment. And however, witnesses are saying that it was a forceful entry. Wow. So we have to see the next couple of days what's gonna happen.
And then right away they issued a search warrant on the apartment to help her out.
Wow.
If there's anything illegal in there.
And so
start slaughtering his reputation.
And so they issued a search warrant on the apartment, on the victim's apartment, to see if there was anything short of illegal, to say that, oh, he was, I don't know, like in possession of
And they found
something
a little bit
illegal.
of pot and a pot grinder.
And so they found some marijuana and the grinder for said substance. So
But it has nothing to do with the case.
yeah, it's like, yeah, and so it has nothing to do with the case, but
They're trying to slaughter him.
yeah, and so they're trying to make him look bad. And so yeah, so right now my sister came in and handed me a 6-foot long charger. So I had this iPod with like the big wide chargers that the iPods used to have. I had one of those, and it was the iPod Touch, and it was awesome. And so I bought a 6-foot long charger so I could connect it to my wall and use my iPod in my bed while moving around and not having to worry about like how far I was moving. So I unearthed my iPod because my car has the wide charger for the iPod, and maybe I could play music through it, like how the iHome used to work. And so right now it's charging. It's actually charging, and it might actually turn on, which is incredible. The device hasn't been awake for almost 3 years now. So yeah, so now I'm looking at this charger and I'm wondering, wow, how interesting. Let's go one more round, check if we have any more questions to answer, and there are no more questions. Well, that's wild. Anyways, as we enter the ending of this week's episode, hold on, I'm about to finish the episode, right? So as we enter the ending of this week's episode, I'd like to thank my sponsors, which are my parents. Thank you. And Cafe Music BGM for the relaxing jazz that has been provided to us through a copyright-free version of a YouTube video. I'd just like to thank you all for coming out and listening to my pseudo diary as I go into college and don't lose my mind and don't fall into some sort of weird emotion hole that I'm avoiding because, I don't know. I mean, that's just
Oh, it was
why.
Batman's birthday on Saturday.
Yeah, it was. Oh yeah, and that's why this is called adjusting. Yesterday was Batman's birthday. It was also, it was a bunch of things yesterday. So yes, as we approach the last minute, I'm just dragging this out so I can say that it was an hour long. Yeah. I really like how my clip art came out. I made that all by myself using a couple of programs that I found, a couple free programs. So that's, you can make quality clip art and thumbnails for free. It just takes a little bit of effort, takes a little bit of design, but I like the simplicity behind it. It's very, very, very nice. So I just like to thank you all for coming out and listening to episode 2, the car saga of adjusting.
Did you tell them how much we spent?
Yeah, I told them everything about the car. The car saga. Adjusting. A college podcast by Bruce Jordan, a first-year college student going into and experiencing university as it is, untamed, uncut, uncensored, raw emotion, and debt. Thank you, and good night.